Welcome to a world where the smallest things often hold the greatest surprises, a world where a simple piece of metal once used every day in shops, gas stations, and grocery stores can turn out to be a treasure worth more than anyone could ever imagine. Today we will explore the fascinating story of the Liberty Quarter Dollar from the year 1980, a coin that at first glance may seem like nothing more than pocket change but in truth carries history, artistry, and in rare cases a staggering value that has been reported at up to $7,800,000 or simply $0.78 million. Imagine holding what you think is a common quarter and realizing it could be worth enough to change your life forever. That is the magic and mystery of the 1980 Liberty Quarter Dollar. The 1980 quarter is part of the Washington Quarter series, one of the most famous and longest-running coin series in United States history. First introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the quarter was originally intended to be a one-year commemorative coin. However, the design was so well received that it became a permanent part of the nation's coinage. On the obverse or front side is the noble portrait of George Washington designed by sculptor John Flanagan, showing the first president in profile, his hair tied in a queue symbolizing the strength and leadership that defined America's beginnings. On the reverse side is the majestic heraldic eagle wings spread wide, perched on a bundle of arrows symbolizing defense, surrounded by olive branches representing peace. This design had been in place since the 1930s, and by 1980 it had already become one of the most recognized images in American coinage. Now let us look at the historical setting of 1980 itself. This was a decade of great change in America, a time of new technology, cultural shifts, and political challenges. Coins from this period reflect not only the economy but also the transition of the minting process. The 1980 quarter was struck in two facilities, Philadelphia and Denver. Philadelphia coins carried no mint mark at that time, while the Denver coins carried a small letter D placed near the bottom right of Washington's portrait. These mint marks are often the first clue collectors look at when examining quarters from this era. The composition of the 1980 quarter is also very important to understand. Prior to 1965, United States quarters were made of 90% silver, which gave them intrinsic metal value that rose and fell with the price of silver. But by the mid-1960s, the rising price of silver made it impractical to continue striking circulating coins with precious metal. From 1965 onward, quarters were made with a clad composition, a core of pure copper sandwiched between outer layers of copper and nickel, giving the coin a silvery appearance while being affordable for mass production. The 1980 quarter is one of these clad coins. To the untrained eye this makes it appear common and ordinary, yet collectors know that special conditions, mint errors, and extremely high grades can make these clad quarters worth small fortunes. When we speak of the 1980 Liberty Quarter Dollar being worth $0.78 million, we are not talking about every quarter from that year. We are talking about the rarest of the rare coins that have survived in absolutely pristine mint state condition, or coins that display dramatic minting errors which make them one of a kind. To understand this, let us look closer at what creates extraordinary value in coins. By numismatist William Sheldon, ranging from poor at 1 to perfect at 70. A typical 1980 quarter you find in change might grade only between very fine and extremely fine, showing wear on Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers. Such coins are worth face value. But if a 1980 quarter has never circulated, if it still carries the blazing mint luster, sharp strikes, and flawless surfaces that it had when it first left the mint, then it can earn a grade of mint state 65, 66, 67, or even higher. At those levels, values climb dramatically because very few coins survive in such condition. At the absolute top, where only a handful exist, collectors may pay thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. The second factor is errors and varieties. The minting process, though highly controlled, can sometimes produce remarkable mistakes. Dies can shift or double, creating doubled die obverse or reverses where the lettering or numbers appear doubled. Coins can be struck off center, leaving part of the design missing. Occasionally a wrong planchet is used, resulting in a quarter struck on a nickel or foreign coin blank. Mint marks can be repunched or misplaced, creating rare varieties that specialists hunt for. These errors transform ordinary quarters into treasures because they are so scarce and visually dramatic. For the 1980 quarter, there are reports of off-center strikes, broad strikes where the rim expands outward, and rare double die varieties that can command high prices. The third factor is demand and competition. The collector market thrives on rarity, but rarity alone does not set the price. The true driver is how many people want to own that rarity and how far they are willing to go to win it. When a unique or nearly unique coin comes to auction, wealthy collectors often bid aggressively to secure it, driving prices to record levels. This is how the market has seen seemingly ordinary coins reach values in the hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. The 1980 Liberty Quarter in its rarest forms has become one of those coins that inspires such competition. Think of the journey of one extraordinary coin. Imagine a 1980 quarter struck at the Denver Mint with perfect precision, carrying blazing luster and no contact marks. Instead of entering circulation, it is saved by a collector who recognized its beauty. It rests safely in a holder for decades, untouched by wear, while most of its billions of brothers are spent, scratched and worn down. Decades later, this pristine survivor is submitted to a professional grading service and comes back certified as one of the highest graded examples known. Word spreads among collectors, and when it finally reaches the auction block, the bidding war begins. Each bidder knows this may be their only chance to own such a coin, and the price climbs higher and higher until it reaches the extraordinary number of $780,000, nearly $0.78 million. That one small coin has become a legend. Beyond the numbers and values, the 1980 Liberty Quarter also carries cultural meaning. It is a reminder of George Washington's legacy of a design that has stood the test of time and of an era in American history when the nation was entering the last decades of the 20th century. For many people, these coins bring back memories of childhood allowances, vending machines, arcade games, and simple everyday transactions. To hold a quarter from 1980 is to hold a piece of that era. For collectors and treasure hunters today, the lesson is clear. Never overlook a coin simply because it seems modern or ordinary. Even a clad quarter from the 1980s, if preserved in perfect condition or struck with a rare error, can be worth staggering amounts. Check your coins carefully. Look for sharp details in Washington's hair, clean fields free from scratches, and strong luster that rotates under light. Use a magnifier to check the lettering, the date, and the mint mark for doubling or other anomalies. Weigh the coin if possible to confirm the planchet is correct. Every detail matters, because every detail could be the difference between a common coin and a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. The story of the 1980 Liberty Quarter dollar is the story of transformation. A coin created for ordinary circulation, struck in the billions, yet capable of becoming extraordinary under the right circumstances. It is a story that reminds us to look closely at the world around us, to pay attention to the details, and to never underestimate the hidden value in what seems common. So when we say that the Liberty Quarter dollar from 1980 is worth a lot of money, we are speaking of those rare and exceptional survivors that have captured the imagination of collectors and reached market values of $0.78 million. These coins are out there, hidden in collections, waiting to be discovered in rolls or resting quietly in old drawers. The question is, will you be the one to find them? If you have a 1980 Liberty Quarter, take a moment to study it closely. What you hold in your hand could be far more than just 25 cents. It could be history, it could be art, it could be a treasure worth life-changing money. That is the beauty and wonder of coin collecting, a world where ordinary becomes extraordinary and where the smallest treasures sometimes hold the greatest stories.